Good evening, love, and good evening, light illuminators and way showers. Thank you for taking this now moment to hang out with me. I'm Wendy. This is my husband, Dave. And if you're new to the channel, tonight we're bringing to you a spontaneous, as usual, light language oracle message and blessing. And as we record this in our time, today's date is the 4th of March, 2025. Today's date equals the number 8. So if you are familiar with my channel, we've been often sharing the symbols.
Today's the 5th.
I keep saying that. Today's the 5th. It equals 8. I keep doing that in my head. I've got 8 in my head because all day long it's been about the energy of 8, which, if you have been familiar with my channel, we've been sharing the sacred circuits from Sirius, of which today is number 8, flow. So, with that said, today, as we were engaging in light languages, some sacred circuits and symbols, light codes came to me, galactic symbols came to me, and being also in the flow of Pisces, the Pisces energy, the water sign, I was feeling that energy of flow. And that is the symbol that also appears on the images that came to me today, is flow. So, interestingly enough, and also one of the things that we get really excited about is synchronicities that show up in our lives through numbers, dates, signs, symbols, and of course, new numbers. Numbers seems to be a way that spirit has a way of speaking to us.
So why do you mention that this is a spontaneous or impromptu video?
Well, because the way I work with spirit and spirit guides is I get a message or get an instinct, an intuition that says, let's make a video. Sometimes when I say they make themselves, how do I want to say that? They tell me who they are, but most of the time it's just an inspiration. And I would say probably all my videos are spontaneous because I don't really have a specific time of day where I sit down and say, okay, I'm going to make videos today. It isn't how I work with spirit, and it isn't really how spirit works with us. I find that the most interesting messages and synchronicities come at the spur of the moment. And so with that said, that's why it's late in the day for us. We've had a full day also in light languages and numerology. And
when you're following your highest excitement and we have the inspiration and the idea to do these things, we act immediately upon it as best as we can. I mean, sometimes we might, in the morning have an inspired idea about talking about something and it doesn't happen until later, but we do our best to act upon it in the perfect timing.
And speaking of perfect timing, today being the 5th, tomorrow's date is 369. So with that said, I plan to be doing a very energetic reading and light language communication, because as we know, that is a very, very numerologically powerful sequence of numbers in our universe, our reality.
So those are sacred numbers and sacred combinations of numbers. And when we use the term sacred, we mean they're unchanging, unchangeable, sort of a truth that withstands everything. And just like the sacred circuits, they were introduced to us as sacred circuits. We can't do anything to change the circuitry. We can use it, but it is what it is, And treating it sacredly allows us to gain the benefits from it.
Thank you.
It just came to me.
But this is how channeling works. This is how channel messages work. And when we're also working with the oracle and the light languages, the light language enhances our ability to utilize these circuitries, these symbols, to broaden our awareness and receive more of our own answers and amplify the frequencies of our synchronicities and amplifying our own frequency. And the interesting thing is I just grabbed one deck. I was guided to the psychic oracle, and I'm shuffling the cards, and one falls out, and it is the number 8. Today's date equaling 8, being with the flow. And again, that water energy. And isn't it interesting that this number 8 card is a sailboat on the water, flowing with the energy. Positive movement forward. Positive movement forward. So as the water energies take us, and as the water energy amplifies, what it is that we would like to move forward with, being in the flow. I'm also reminded that the Piscean energy is the spring energy, the beginning of spring. And if you're here in the Northern Hemisphere, and the idea of flowing into spring and sowing the seeds of the projects, the ways in which you'd like to flow more freely. How can you use this energy? All of us use this energy of being in the flow of this sign, because it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. Even if you're moving in the Southern Hemisphere, moving into your autumn, still the idea of the Piscean energy and being in the flow, and the oceans, how the oceans and the waters touch us everywhere. The aquamarine energy of the symbol of the crystal of the aquamarine energy, that feeling of flow. I'm actually getting all tingly again.
Because I brought our crystal skull out to help magnify the energies for you.
And we actually just happen to have, I think the aquamarines are in here actually, and I believe these are actually raw aquamarine crystals. So with that said, going with the flow of your intuition, and that to know that there is positive movement forward for whatever it is that you want to activate the flow of in your life. And of course, no matter when you receive this message, watch this video, the message still remains the same, despite the actual time and date that you're watching it. And
a Lemurian crystal is in here.
Oh. Ooh. And actually, I was just looking at the deck. Would you like, I love those crystals. And here's the Lemurian. Ooh. I don't know if that's really in very good focus there. Well, since you have the Lemurian crystal.
And this one.
Ooh. Nisabasmia tokoshomaya. Inamayava omero paate asana kialavasma eshanakote bisma anamiyama ata ezana shantia manavismate ashanakote baini alavasma. Oh, should we pull a Lemurian card?
Sure.
Right back.
I'll go find it.
Okay, they're right back here behind me. Yes, Anna.
This is one of our. This is a smaller Lemurian.
I was looking for it. I thought I brought it up here.
Beyond Lemuria.
Beyond Lemuria. We'll pull the Beyond Lemuria card. Oh, no way. Okay, this is really weird. This is number 0, new beginnings. So we're talking about spring, new beginnings, forward movement on a new project, forward movement on something new to flow into your life. Today's about flow, new beginnings, 0. I've never pulled this card. And look at her stepping on top of the world. New beginnings. Stepping on top of the world. Walking through the portal of the unknown. Allowing new beginnings to flow into your life.
Number 52.
Oh, and this. Whoop, and we'll put the links to these in the videos. Here's I got the whole deck here in my hand. Beyond Lemuria. I absolutely love this artwork. And what is our
The Violet Flame.
message for today? Is that 52?
52.
Number 52. The Violet Flame. So allow this activation of the violet flame today flow through us. And look at the artwork, the flowing, the knowing eye. You walking out into the unknown, new beginnings. Holding the crystals in your hand, the energy in your hands. You have all you need right there. The violet flame never leaves us. And with that said, one of the other crystals for March is amethyst. And I have this amazing grape jelly amethyst crystal from Uruguay. Amplifying the energy. Along with our Lemurian crystal, Nyatokosa, the violet flame. Nyatokosmeshe elevana, alivisboto oshoma, alivismanto umkoro, vashana kundea elizamata ashoko toa. Is there a message you'd like to share?
I would like to share a message.
Yes, please.
So the violet flame, I want to say these are permission slips, as we call them now, but these are in the toolkit used in Lemurian times. But not only that, shamanistic spiritual practices where you sort of invoke the violet flame to clear the energies, to balance the energies, to remove negative influences, negative beliefs. And so you're invited to share in this practice of thinking of the violet flame. And I would say everything comes from your heart. Everything comes from within. So you could imagine a violet flame sparking out from inside you and spreading outward to as far as you need it to go. And I used to do a similar thing when we were in the Miami area.
Mm-hmm.
Just enveloping the entire area that we were going to in a violet flame type of energy. And these types of things are useful practices. And even though we know we don't need to do these things, when you're inspired to do them, there's a reason for it. And there's no need to question it. the teachings of using these tools is essentially the violet flame is a color, is a frequency, and they really come from the angelic realm, these ideas, and they're used to I want to say almost sterilize your aura and the physical representation of where you're at. So we're imagining ourselves being here, sitting here in Alabama. But in our imagination, we are also imagining the idea of the violet flame spreading out over the state, over the country, over the whole planet, over the galaxy, and
yes,
bringing with it a flavor of love.
Yes.
And spreading it throughout. And what that really is doing is we're creating a physical idea of a representative of an outer change to really reflect our inner change. So.
And I was thinking about how I've always considered that idea too of the violet flame as being, like you said, something that I put out there, to in many different circumstances, and sometimes for healing. And I was happened to be looking down, and I just happened to see my healing stone here, and it made me think of also how I have sent out that violet flame even to those who are crossing over, who are transitioning into non-physical, enveloping them in this violet flame. And as you said, it's like a purification process. It's a new beginning. And so it seemed fitting too for today's message also of part of the flow of life also is that we exist eternally and infinitely, and yet we in this physical reality have a transitional experience. I guess that's the way to put it, an experience. And so Nyatoke e shame jana bolora e mi sambante e la jana kendo bi ambolo ko sopa e shate. Sinaya ma impa tonko ya e jano tavesma eleje kantakile samato basapa ana. And it's as if I do feel literally like this card that mate kia nambashate e jano baropa alevese. It's like that, bringing in that violet flame, that all-knowing. Miapo ashate, realizing that we have, everything that we need in our hands.
I believe Saint Germain is associated with the violet flame as well.
Thank you for. I was just thinking the same thing, and even the crystals growing there, and it's almost as if she's also receiving energy from the crystals and allowing herself to see into the vastness of infinity. Well, I trust that these messages reach you in ways that you may or may not realize right away. Sometimes these messages unfold, as we all know. The same with these light codes. As we look at them, gaze upon them, they continue to tell their stories. I will say infinitely. And
they represent gateways for you to go through to learn more and more about yourself.
And that really is what all of this is all about, is for each and every one of us to follow our highest joy and excitement, that we may discover more and more of all that we are. And that never stops. Never.
And let us know in the comments below what you feel when you see these symbols, the synchronicities that you experience or may have experienced today.
Or through the light language. Mia lavis matea. Somos ba ilavis ma eteja na kilema or makaha. Sotokosi misvashana kandiara vas malina. And na ite kishoto vati ishanoko. It's like reaching into the vastness of all of that, all that you are. That brilliant, multifaceted crystal that allows us to tap in to all of the lives that we are simultaneously. Okay,
Thanks
I love
for
you
joining
guys.
us.
Until tomorrow, miata.